welcome to our latest Pieces to Piece interview. Today I'm here with Sarah Sienkiewicz. Her name is Polish and I've had to practice it. Of Healing Business Academy. And so we're going to have a chat about marketing for sensitive people, which, you know, a lot of us are. And, you know, that vulnerability of putting yourself out there and how to feel better about it. So, hello, Sarah.
Hi.
So, what is it that you do in Healing Business Academy?
Okay, so Healing Business Academy is a community of light workers, healers, therapists. We all come together to share our stories about business, any difficulties we're having, how to keep accountable, how to keep focused, top tips, inspiration, that kind of thing.
And how did you get into what it is that you're doing?
Okay, so I've always been interested in like mindset, personal development, spiritual development. Back when I was reading it, it was still called self-help.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was 19, I read a book called Be Your Own Life Coach by Fiona Harold.
Mm-hmm.
I'd done like business studies and psychology at school, at college, so I kind of was already on that path. But I didn't finish the course. I moved to London, and I kind of got into a job and worked my way up in the corporate world. But sort of in the background, I was doing a lot of reading about spiritual development, learning about souls and past lives, and yeah, it was just really cool. But I didn't know anybody else really who was into it. So I wasn't in a nurturing space for that. So I kind of kept it hidden. But you know, still carried on with my work, and I was in admin, and I was a PA and coordinator, so very sociable, always on the sports teams, you know, always organising the charity events, knew everyone, you know, just like loved it, absolutely loved it. But there was this part of me that wasn't really expressed, but it gave me a really good grounding into, you know, I love being organised, I love systems and processes and all of that logical stuff. And then when I had my children, I knew that this was the perfect time to kind of go into my coaching, because I'd done the course, but and it was so funny because when I was 24, I'd said I'm going to be married with a house and a husband by the time I'm 30, and I'll be a life coach when they're at school. And people are like, you can't say that, you know, it's just impossible. You're single, you don't, you know, you live in a shared house, it's just crazy. But I was like, okay, just watch, like whatever, your opinion doesn't matter. And I just carried on, and that's what's happening. So, you know, I'm married, I've got 2 children, I'm a life coach now that they're at school. So, you know, that whole living by design, making, you know, and I always wanted to know, like, how does the universe work? Like, I was always like quite deep in that way, like even as a kid, you know, I was always interested in like, what does the world look like through God's eyes? Like, that's what I used to think like as a kid. But you know, growing up with an atheist mum, you're like, don't talk like that. So again, it's that, you know, it's just like hiding your light, hiding that inquiry. But it was still there, and I still did it, you know, sort of privately. Because when I did go out and I spoke to people about it, I'd get that kind of, huh?
Oh yeah, we know that.
I don't like. You can just see it, can't you? And I don't know if you know that feeling where you're just like, oh no, oh, I'm not wrong crowd. But I think that there is that, you know, and then going into business and going to networking, and then saying, you know, I do oracle card reading, and you know, angels, and I, you know, I've got affirmations, and you know, like 5-10 years ago, people, I think it's a lot more common now, but people didn't, like, I felt like I was the only one. So yeah, that's like kind of my journey into it. And then then I realized, okay, I need to find people who do get it. I need to, I kind of had that calling. I need to have a community around me where this is safe to talk about, that you can talk about energy and like go and have interesting conversations and expansive conversations and work with energy and angels and oracle cards, and it'd be really fun. Not kind of trying to convert skeptics, but be with people who were there as well and got it and wanted more. And so that's what I've been doing, and it's evolved into Healing Business Academy.
And I think, you know, I can definitely relate to that, you know, and in setting up a business as well, where you're like, as a healer, you want to help everybody. Like, you do want to help everybody, but so many people aren't ready to receive that help. So, and that's kind of where our chat about marketing comes in, really, isn't it? So what would your advice be for someone who's setting up, you know, that heart-centered, slightly woo-woo, but grounded? How would you say, you know, what would your advice be?
I think there's two ways of approaching it. You've got like the external stuff, the logic stuff, the, you know, ideal client profile exercise. I mean, that was a turning point for me, thinking about who it is I really want to work with, you know, to the extent of the detail where you actually name them, you can see them, you know all about them. And that was a breakthrough for me, because and then it was like everything became clear, all the stuff that I'd been writing and building, and because before that it was a bit kind of like, one blog post would be about space clearing, another one would be about networking tips, another one would be about self-esteem, and I didn't really know my message, didn't know what to talk about in my newsletter, because I was like, who am I even talking to and what do they want? Like, it was a bit of an unknown. But when I got that piece of information, it was like, okay, now, you know, I'm doing that. I could really kind of hone in on what my message was, who I was talking to. And for me, marketing is about attraction. It's not about chasing around people saying, you know, EFT is amazing, you have to have this. Yeah, of course, everybody needs a bit of, you know, theta healing, EFT, whatever your modality is. It's amazing. But like you said, if they're not in that place to go there, it's irrelevant, because there's like too much resistance in the way. So that's like the external stuff. But I love working on the inner planes. So when you can, you know, like, this is how I attracted my husband. I knew exactly the kind of guy that I wanted. And you can do this with marketing, exactly the kind of customer that you're looking for. And then call out to them, you know, put it out there. I'm calling out to you, and I'm open to receiving, and I'm imagining our paths crossing at the perfect time for both of us, when we're ready for each other. And it's like this beautiful, I'm getting goosebumps, it's like this beautiful match that you've called into being, but it's a very inner thing, you know. And it's like an imagination, like in your vision, and the trust of, we will meet. So I don't need to worry, am I doing enough right now, am I saying the right things, am I, you know, all of that's important. But on an energy level, are you open to receiving clients? Are you open to being paid to help and to give value and receive value? Is your giving and receiving in harmony, or are you giving it all away for free and being depleted? Like, what's the energy around it? So you've got the systems and the processes and all the things that you can do, like newsletters and, you know, putting yourself out there and all those things. But on your inner plane, are you, you know, do you feel safe to shine? Are you confident and comfortable with what you have to offer? Are you calling all of these wonderful things into being, and are you open to being, like, to having those things? So, you know, and it is a journey. It's not like you just go, right, okay, I'm open, shop door, you know, turn around the side, open for business. It's a journey.
And they magically turn up,
They magically turn up, and you know exactly what your offering is, and it's going to be like that forever. No, it evolves, and with each interaction, with each person you meet, networking, with each webinar you watch, and you know, opt-in you do, and it all, like you were saying, like pieces, you know, all the pieces come together at different times. It doesn't, you don't have to have it all today, but just keep moving towards that vision, and being completely clear what that vision is, and then the magic happens.
It's interesting you say that, about, because I do notice those parallels with like online dating. And actually, and I think, you know, it's interesting about that safety, because I have to admit, I was on Plenty of Fish for a while, and I went through a stage of saying yes to anyone who wanted to meet me, and regretted that a lot of the time. And then I started setting more boundaries, you know. I wasn't responding to everybody. I would read the profile before I responded. And then I also, in my About Me section, I didn't describe myself. I described who I wanted, like the values of the person that I wanted. And I noticed a shift in who was responding to me, and like who was sending me messages. And it was like getting clear on the values of that person. It was like a safety bubble around my online dating profile. And I guess that's the same with business, really, isn't it? That it, once you're clear,
but it's what you're putting out.
And then yes, that profile did get me my partner of over 2 years now, so
one of the exercises I've been doing recently, so my logo's got a symbol on it, and I read the Barefoot Doctor's book, Manifesto. I don't know if you've read that one, but it's amazing law of attraction book. I believe that the life I'm living now is thanks to the book that I read, like when I was, it was really powerful. And I reread it again, you know, because now, okay, well, I've got all those things up, so what's next? You know, it's like a continuing journey. But he was talking about these sort of putting your symbol onto your vision. So having a symbol and putting it onto your vision. So my logo symbol, you know, thinking about that in the ether, connecting with that as an energy body, and saying, if my business had an energy body, is it, you know, maybe like for me it's my logo symbol, but you might have a face or a vibe or a color or a shape, or, you know, whatever that energy feels and looks like for you, and then connect with it, and just, you know, go into that place. And I don't even need to be very prescriptive and say do this, do that, do that, but just go in and build a relationship there, because it's really insightful. You know, is that energy body somewhere else? Does it feel close to you? Does it feel far away? Is it connected? It's so amazing, because then, you know, is it got dull colors? What happens when you light it up? Is it inside you? Is it outside of you? Like, where does it sit? Are there any other people around? Like, what is this space that you're creating? For me, it just started out like quite black and this kind of fuzzy healing thing. So I've been then going into this meditation and really connecting with the energy body of my business and building that relationship. I'm getting goosebumps. Because like it's a whole different way of working. And yes, I'm doing my tracking and I'm scheduling my social media posts and I'm really clear about who I'm talking to. And yes, I've got my webinar planned and I'm doing all of those things outside, but I'm really working on the inner planes as well. Have I got my vision clear? Have I got my energy in the right space? Am I flowing with my energy or am I pushing and forcing, or am I allowing? Am I receiving? You know, how are my boundaries? Who am I letting in? Is everyone allowed in? Or do I have, you know, these people can be around, but these are people that I allow closer? You know, how is my giving? Am I giving everything to everyone, or are there different sort of levels towards me? What's, you know, how safe do I feel within that? If I imagine myself on a stage sharing my message, shining my light, does that fill me with joy, or do I feel a bit nervous about that? So checking in with the energy all the time, and that's, you know, I just love working in that way, because yeah, you can follow the business manuals, and you can, you know, you can create that kind of business. But I think the type of people we are, we want to go deeper. We like to go deeper. Like, it's way more fun. Like, we pulled oracle cards before this thing, and it just adds like this whole new element to it. That's more playful and fun. Like, I've been using like stickers and like colors in my book, and I just love, like, I'm allowed to have fun and play, and it's like, yeah, it's how it should be.
Yeah. Speaking of the oracle cards, so this was the one I pulled from the Denise Lynn's native spirit deck. So we got owl medicine, and kind of, actually, the native spirit cards are so deep, but we were both saying, like, we love Denise Lynn's explanations in the book so much.
Well, that's how we met.
Yes, it was. Yes. Yeah, we both did her oracle card reading course. And she's amazing, isn't she?
Yeah.
And it was, so we read it out before we started recording, and it was all about, basically, in some indigenous cultures, the men say that they're afraid of the owl because it represents the power of women, and they're in awe of and even afraid of the power of women. And that's it that creative power, isn't it? That nurturing power, that emotional power. Yeah.
And I really love what Denise Duffield Thomas said about, like, the men they've built this world. Like, and you know, when you're driving around and you see like workmen doing the road works, I'm like, I love you for that. Thank you, men, because you're like, you build houses and you build roads, and you know, you're so like technical and engineering. I know women do that as well. I'm not being completely, but you know, that's their gift to our world, because they've like created these structures, and now the women can come in and just, like, you know, bring vibrancy and energy and femininity to that. You know, if you go into a man's house that they haven't got a girlfriend, and it's like, oh, could do with a woman's touch. You know, that kind of vibe, where it's just like so blokey, and like, but the women come in and they make beauty, and you know, so nurturing and creative, and like, I don't think it has to be one or the other. I love the fact that we can work together. It doesn't have to be, oh, now it was a man's world and now it's a woman's world. No, let's work together. Let's like bring each other's gifts and skills and honor them and love them, and you know, be at peace with them all.
It's that equality, isn't it?
Yeah,
like and that's really like the essence of Pieces to Piece, is kind of, you know, that equality of each of like our soul gifts, like what you're here to do, what I'm here to do, what everybody watching this, what they're here to do. There's an equality in that, and that's where we can collaborate and help each other, and make it even better.
And if you apply that to your business, having the masculine energies of, you know, and the sort of like the yin and the yang. You know, yes, you've got to get out there. Yes, you've got to do all those, you know, logical things and structures and things. But yes, you have to honor your energy and bring that creativity and feminine touch. And I've learned this year about cycle tracking, and it's amazing how when you start batching your energy and your activity around your cycle, how, I don't know, it's like harnessing that feminine power. And it's been incredible. It's really, because I was, you know, before I was like thinking I was burning out and I couldn't work out, but it was because I wasn't working with my energy. I was forcing against it, and I was expecting myself to be up all the time and like full on 100%, come on, run with the boys. And actually it's not that. We don't work like that. You know, men cycle every 24 hours, women cycle every 28 days. And now it's just, I've softened so much. It's beautiful. So I definitely like recommend people look into that.
Excellent. And so how can people get hold of you? Like, what? And your options and everything.
So I've got a couple of different ways. I mean, if you go to Healing Business Academy, that's a place where, you know, it's a great way to interact with, you know, the community.
Is this on Facebook?
Yeah, so Facebook group, Healing Business Academy. My website is www.healingbusiness.co.uk, and that's where you can find links to my free online training or different opt-ins, or you can book a business breakthrough session. So, you know, what I found was not everyone wants long-term coaching. I can provide that, but sometimes people just need a bit of a breakthrough, and they're just kind of stuck with something, and whether it's like systems or energy or both, you know, they just need that kind of like an hour and a half, let's just work on something and move me forward. So that's where the business breakthrough came from. But yeah, I'm quite active on Facebook. I love Facebook. I meet so many amazing people on Facebook. I love networking there.
And that's how we met as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's how we met. So we were in the same room. So I'll just share the story. Like, we did the Soul Coaching Oracle Card Practitioner course. We were in the same room, and then we met on Facebook via a different business. And you wrote, I'm a Soul Coaching Oracle Card reader. I was like, you don't see that often. Like,
especially not in the group that we were in.
No, and I messaged you and I was like, what, like, Denise Lynn's one? And then we realised that we'd been in the same room, but we just hadn't met then. And then we've done work together, and, you know, we did some theta healing at the beginning of the year, which again was just helping me to expand and unlock that potential, but also create that wonderful boundary of safety so that I can then really move forward with, you know, grace and power.
You can see now how much that you are living that shining.
And when, you know, those little nerves come up, I don't think, oh, that's fear. I think this is a sign I'm growing. So like, it's just reframing that, you know, and just being called to just gently grow. It's not like we suddenly have to go into like panic, but just I'm stretching, and every time I stretch, I'm growing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, there are so many. I'm going to go back and watch this. I'm gonna, definitely the energy of the business thing. I'm connected with that. So thank you so much for your time, and
thanks for having me.
All those insights with us. And I will put. Well, actually, if you've watched the video, you will see that I have already put your your information on.
Thank you.
You can read it.
I appreciate that.
Great. So see you on Facebook.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.